All right, if you've got a solar setup, you're going to want to listen up. We're about to break down one of the most common and seriously expensive mistakes that can permanently kill your equipment. And the scary part, it can all happen on one beautiful, sunny, but very, very cold morning.
So let's just cut right to the chase. Could a single cold day, just one, completely fry your expensive solar charge controller? The answer is an absolute resounding yes. But here's the good news. It is 100% preventable. And it all comes down to understanding one little number on the back of your solar panel that, honestly, most people just glance right over.
I like to call this the costly morning mistake. You see, there's a hidden danger lurking in every single solar panel. It only rears its ugly head when the temperature really starts to drop. And it's all because of one specific number that's super easy to misunderstand.
And that number is the open circuit voltage, or as you'll always see it written, VOC. Now, I know it sounds like more technical jargon, but please stick with me here. This is without a doubt the most important number you need to know to keep your charge controller from turning into a paperweight.
So what exactly is VOC? Well, open circuit voltage is the absolute maximum voltage a panel can spit out when it's not really doing anything yet, when it's not connected to a load like your batteries. It's the raw, untamed potential that your charge controller sees for just a split second at sunrise, right before it even starts its real job. And this right here is the classic trap. This is where people get into so much trouble. They look at the Vamp, the maximum power voltage, and they use that for their safety calculations. Vamp is the voltage when everything's running smoothly under load. But the VOC, that open circuit voltage, is always higher. You have to design your system for the absolute worst-case scenario, and that peak, that potential spike, is always the VOC.
But here's the plot twist. That VOC number printed on your panel, it's not set in stone. It actually changes based on the weather. And there's one factor in particular that turns that number into a very real rising threat: cold.
Okay, let's use a real-world example. Here's a pretty typical solar panel. Under standard test conditions, a nice, mild 25 degrees Celsius or 77 Fahrenheit, its open circuit voltage is 40.5 volts. So if your charge controller is rated for, let's say, 45 volts, you're golden. Plenty of headroom. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, on a freezing morning, something kind of magical and very dangerous happens inside that panel. As the silicon gets colder, the electrical resistance just plummets. It's like the highway for electrons inside the panel suddenly becomes a super slick 10-lane autobahn with no speed limit. The voltage can surge to a level it could never reach on a warm day.
And boom, there's the result. That exact same panel, now sitting in a chilly -10 Celsius, is suddenly pushing out 46.2 volts. That's almost 6 volts higher than its rating. If your charge controller has a 45-volt limit, you might hear a pop. And just like that, it's fried. Game over. And trust me, that damage is permanent.
So how do we prevent this catastrophe? Well, the great news is you don't have to guess. There's a pretty straightforward formula that lets you calculate your true maximum voltage for the absolute coldest day of the year. This little bit of math is the key to protecting your investment.
Okay, I know, this looks like homework. But trust me, it's way simpler than it seems. All you're doing is taking the panel's regular VOC and then adjusting it based on how cold it's going to get. You figure out the temperature difference, and you multiply it by the panel's temp coefficient, which is just a fancy number on the spec sheet that tells you exactly how much the voltage goes up for every single degree the temperature goes down.
Let's break it down into 4 simple steps. 1. Find the VOC and the temp coefficient on your panel spec sheet. It's always there. 2. Figure out the coldest temperature your location is ever likely to see, and be pessimistic here. 3. Plug those numbers into the formula to find the adjusted cold weather VOC for a single panel. And 4, and this is the one you absolutely cannot forget, if you wire your panels in a series string, you have to add up the adjusted voltage of every single panel to get your grand total.
All right, so once you have that magic number, your true maximum voltage, you can finally wire up your system for total bulletproof safety. This is where we take all that math and turn it into a physically secure and reliable solar setup that you can trust.
So what are we really protecting against here? Well, number one, obviously, is that cold weather voltage spike we've been talking about. But really, this is all part of a bigger safety mindset. It's about respecting the power you're dealing with, which also means preventing electrical shock, using the right fuses, and never, ever mixing different types of panels in the same string.
Now this is huge. How you wire your panels changes the math completely.
When you connect panels in series, that's positive to negative, their voltages literally stack on top of each other. So 3 of our 46-volt panels in a string suddenly become a 138-volt system. That's why this cold weather math is so non-negotiable. Now, in parallel, the voltage doesn't add up, but you still need to know that peak voltage of one panel to keep things safe.
And just to complete the picture, the exact opposite is true for the current, or the amps. In series, the amps stay the same, but in parallel, the amps add up. That's a whole different calculation, and it's absolutely essential for picking the right size wires and the right fuses for your system.
So here it is, the bottom line. Understanding and calculating your true maximum VOS isn't just some academic exercise. It is the single most important safety step you can take to protect your gear and your investment. It's what ensures your system will actually survive its first winter. So I'll leave you with a question. Do you know the all-time record low temperature for your area? You really should.